Yo, what's up, everybody? It's another episode of Should I Play That? What's going on, guys? This is Chris and Rod with episode 3?
It might be 5,000. We've been doing this for 10 years.
Oh, man, what a time to be alive.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud.
But, yeah, what's going on, guys? This is episode 3 on Should I Play That? And it's March the 15th, releasing on a Friday. So anyone that's listening live or listening as this uploads, once again, many thanks. People that are listening after that, I still appreciate you too. Thanks for the love.
You might be catching up when we're on episode 500. You know, you might have wanted to listen to us from the very beginning.
Jeez, I haven't. That's some meta talk right now. I haven't even thought about that.
Yes, hi future self.
So, anyways, this is a gaming podcast. Just all around, we talk about what's going on in the news, what we've been playing, and just we just sit back and just relax. This is what it's all about. Nothing too super serious. It's just two guys just chilling, talking about what we love.
Just hanging out, talking about some cool media that we enjoy, that we consume. Kick back, drink some whiskey. If you're not of age, I don't know, drink a Kool-Aid, I guess.
We gotta shout out the ones under 21.
Yeah,
drinking your Kool-Aids and Sprites. So Sprite, no, just a small tangent. Sprite actually released like a Sprite like lemonade.
It's
like Sprite.
lemonade?
It's like Sprite lime something. And
isn't Sprite lime already? It's lemon lime, isn't it?
Exactly. So buying it, I was like, yo, Sprite has a new flavor. Like, this thing has to be wild.
Uh-huh.
I took a sip, and
it's just Sprite.
It's just Sprite. Yo, they got me. I got.
There was a Coke. There was a something like that happened with Coke. I'll have to look it up later. I can't remember it. But yeah, it was like a big gotcha, essentially, to everyone. They released a flavor, like a different flavor of Coke, I believe, and everyone thought it was going to be super different, and it came out, and it was just Coke. It was just regular Coke. But yeah, good job. There's a correlation there, too. Sprite is owned by Coke, right?
They know what they're doing.
They're experienced.
So anyways, how we like to start off the show after our, introductions and shout outs and everything is we like to just start off the show with wrapping up what we've been playing this week. So Rod, what you been playing, man?
Well, I played a little bit of the Tetris 99 tournament that they had last weekend, and the Maximus tournament, I believe it was called, and it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. I think I finished, the highest I finished was maybe place 23 or 24 or something.
That's still really good. You were literally playing with all of the Tetris tryhards.
Yeah, I really was, to be honest. And I thought that it might have been. I was thinking maybe I'm just awful at Tetris. I've been awful my entire life, and turns out, well, that is probably true. It was made even more obvious because everyone else was saying the same thing. I was on Reddit, and they were talking in various different threads about oh man, it's very hard out here right now for the difficulty has been ratcheted up. And I have been playing Tetris 99 kind of off and on. I think I spoke about it a little bit on the show already, but I didn't really know what I was doing fully. And this was a really great crash course onto what this game was. So just really briefly, it's a battle royale, but with Tetris, and that's an insane combination. But they have different modes of attacking people. You can actually attack players. You can send what they call garbage lines, that you create on your board. You send them over to another person's board, and you can attack people who are attacking you. You can go after people and just straight up KO them. You can go after badges, and badges help multiply the garbage lines that you send. So that helps, and you get badges by KOing other players. So sometimes you'll want to try to get badges from other players by killing them. And there might be another one that I cannot remember. There's a fourth option, but yeah, it's a really innovative kind of strategy between flicking between the different modes of attack, and then also kind of just playing regular ass Tetris, which is, spoiler, really fun. So it was really cool. I didn't win any games, so no $10.
I was gonna say, people were fighting hard for that $10 credit.
Yeah, they really were. They really were. Like, I would say majority of the time. I mean, there were some games I got knocked out. Like, I came in round, like, maybe place 80 something. Like, it was really fast. Like, my games were maybe 2 minutes, which is, pretty fast, which is normal for a battle royale.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what comes to expect when you're playing a battle royale.
Exactly.
So it's not bad.
Yeah. So super fun game. It's definitely like kind of a kickback and like play a couple rounds before bed type of game. And I'm curious to kind of get back into it like when people aren't trying to win something. So yeah, really great game. So been playing that, and you and I have been playing a lot of Destiny 2 lately. Yeah.
So jumping back into Destiny 2, I feel like we finally hit that point where we actually like have to grind stuff out, and boy, was that like a heart-wrenching like realization.
Oh, when we're going and getting the what's that? The Black Armory.
Yeah, so at this point we went through the Forsaken, we went through like the previous DLCs, so now we're actually like trying to catch up. We're knocking out the Black Armory stuff, which honestly is like so Black Armory and Joker's Wild, which are the two like DLCs out now for Forsaken. They're for the most part like end game DLC. So like if you're thinking about picking up Destiny 2 and you're thinking about getting like these DLCs, honestly, if you don't see yourself playing the end game or actually caring about the end game, you really don't have to get the annual pass, because that's all it really is just adding an extra thing for you to do during the week to actually like play the game to keep you going. So like our realization was like, we're doing this mission to unlock a forge, and we're like, why feels really grindy right now? Like, why are we doing the same thing over and over again with zero story context?
Right. Zero, by the way. Like, you get some dialogue with the new character Ada, but it's pretty sparse. And you get like a little bit of Spider, the guy from the Forsaken DLC, but that's about it.
Yeah, so we had to sort of course adjusted, and like, I guess at this point we're not gonna marathon through the content like we were with Forsaken and like the other DLCs, which actually had story like missions and everything like that. We're just gonna like actually play it proper, which is like do some of these missions week by week, which I feel like with some of these games coming up, it's going to be a little bit harder to do. But, I mean, all in all, I'll say this. I'm enjoying my time with Destiny 2. The gunplay still feels really good. When I have exotic weapons or armor pieces that drop when they happen to give us those, they feel like it's game changing. Like I could make a build around these exotic pieces.
Absolutely.
So, shout out to Bungie, for doing that. Shout out to them for them like separating from Activision. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do, like with them self-producing the game.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah. Like I'm actually super curious to see what this game is going to really look like, when they're free of Activision, and seeing what they've got in store for everybody. I mean, even in the video, the VDoc, or I think that's what they call their documentaries, right? Like their mini things. They even make mention of like, hey, you will see a different Destiny here, which is exciting.
Yep. So good on that. Besides that, we've been playing Apex Legends as like a palate cleanser for the night. Whenever we get frustrated with Destiny, we're like, I don't want to go to sleep, frustrated. Let's, pop in Apex and let's see what happens.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
Like, I'm not sure if we've like delved into Apex Legends, but guys, 50 million players already after a month. I want to think you've heard of it. You might have played it already, but Apex Legends is another battle royale from Respawn, and those are the guys that made Titanfall. So there are no Titans, but you do have a lot of like the mobility of the Titanfall games. No wall running, but you can scamper up walls. You can like take zip lines and like do stuff like that. So you're really mobile. It's a fun game. They did do a patch recently that sort of nerfed certain guns. So that's interesting to see how like the meta is going to change up. And they've added a new weapon. I think it's called the Havoc. It's
the
like
Havoc, right?
Yeah, it's like a it's like
a machine. It's like a machine gun. It uses energy.
Yeah.
Weapons or bullets.
Yeah, so that's cool. There's rumors of a new pilot. I think they call them pilots, right? Or are they calling what do they call them in this game?
Legends?
Legends? I think Legends. Yeah. So there's a new legend that's sort of like popped up through someone, looking into the code of the game. So we may see something about that pretty soon. And their battle pass got announced. It's gonna be $10, and I think at some point it'll launch soon. No exact date, or at least not that I know of.
Right. Yeah, I don't recall seeing a date specifically for it.
Yeah. So I mean, what are your impressions of Apex? How do you feel about it?
I like Apex a lot, which is something I wasn't expecting to, because the way they announced it, it was like, hey, it's Titanfall 2, but without Titans, and that was like a big, what the hell for me. But actually playing it, the gunplay is fast, it's fluid. You get a lot of variety with the weapons and with the encounters. It does what a great battle royale does, which it makes every single game feel completely different. I think that's the key to all of these battle royale experiences, because I mean, your game can be as long as 25, 30 minutes, or as short as like a minute or two.
30 seconds, like
30 seconds.
As soon as you drop, like I've seen like fist fights, like fight clubs happen where a bunch of teams show up in one spot. No one has a gun, but everyone wants to fight. So it's quite hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's definitely one of those things where, it perfects the battle royale formula. I think it's my favorite battle royale that I've played yet, which is saying a lot, because I mean, they've come out and I've enjoyed them, but like, I've kind of been, I play them for a little bit and move on to something else. And this one is kind of like a cool one to kind of go back into, every now and then. And like you said, a palate cleanser. Yeah.
So, definitely check it out, guys. It's free to play. And I mean, if you liked Fortnite, if you've liked PUBG, like this, I feel like what's cool about these battle royales that are coming out is that they all offer something that's a little different, or at least they try to.
Yeah.
So depending on like I have a friend who, he loves the realism of shooters. So like PUBG, he gravitates more towards PUBG since it's a little bit more realistic. And then, Fortnite has its whole crowd. Like you can't knock Fortnite because it did what it did and it's popular. They're making money. And right. Apex Legends seems like it's a good, like, it's not realistic per se. It's like more arcadey, but it's not super goofy like Fortnite.
Exactly. I think that's the key to, like, and it's weird because so Apex kind of strikes like that balance between being like super self-serious, but at the same time, kind of having a jokey manner. Like, it doesn't go full Borderlands on you, or Fortnite is probably a better example, but it doesn't go full PUBG either. Like Wraith, the character Wraith is such an interesting. So she's like the one character who's kind of super serious, because she's like, I hear voices in my head, and like I've seen all the paths, so there's only one out. Like, I mean, it's like that kind of character. And at first you might like roll your eyes and be like, okay, all right. But then everyone else, Pathfinder is like this stupid robot who's like, if I, don't hold your breath if you have lungs, like, but it's kind of charming though, like in a way that I mostly enjoy, and not in a Borderlands way where maybe not Borderlands, maybe Battleborn is a better comparison. Yeah. It's not like Battleborn absurdity, like it's that
it's not super self-aware.
Yeah, it's irreverent, but in a way that is tolerable to me. So yeah, I think they mood wise they strike a really great balance, and that's something that Titanfall 2 didn't like. It doesn't feel like a Titanfall game in that way. Like functionally, it feels like it. Like the gunplay and everything else like does kind of feel like that, but in the locomotion of all the characters, but the personality of the game is a lot more colorful.
Has a lot more personality. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so like I said, check that out. I feel like every now and then you may, and this is gonna be a plug for our Facebook page. So shout out to everyone that's liked or followed the page. But on our Facebook account, once again, should I play that? Look that up and like and follow us. We'll stream from time to time, so that's something that I feel like we've done. Have we streamed Apex?
I don't think we have.
So at some point we'll do that soon. So if you guys want to see that, let us know. The page is sort of like a regular page where you can message us. You should be able to post like questions and stuff like that. So if you want to see us stream certain things, once again, let us know. And we'll try and do it. Like I'm loving the feedback that we're getting from that page. We're still brand new, so like it's a lot of people that I've known or that's in like my immediate circle. But now it's to the point now where like I'm starting to see people that I have no idea who they are, like liking or maybe commenting about stuff. So that's cool too. So shout out to you guys, to the new followers. Definitely want to give that out. But up next, we're gonna change the formula a little bit, and we're gonna go ahead and give our news spill, but it's gonna be more or less of like a rapid fire format. If it's something that you guys, we talk about for a little bit, you guys want to, continue the discussion, once again, we're on Facebook. Leave a comment, and let's go ahead and discuss in the comments.
Yeah, definitely let us know if you're liking this or things that we can improve on. For sure, we're kind of workshopping some things, and we're going to see what works.
Yep. All right, so beginning of this week, the beginning of last week, I guess, or the end of last week, Dead or Alive 6 came out, and it's a thing. So I guess I want to say I have a special place in my heart for Dead or Alive, but it's a fighting game that if I see people are playing, or if I'm at a friend's house and like, hey, I have Dead or Alive, let's play it, I wouldn't object to it, right. But it's not like my go-to fighter.
Right. And what is it that prevents it from being that for you?
I sort of put it in a box with Virtua Fighter, but like it's a little bit dialed up. So it's not. Wait,
are you saying you're not a Virtua Fighter fan?
It's Virtua Fighter is like super, like it's so plain cut to me.
Oh man. So this will be a long discussion.
Oh shoot. So I'm not like discounting like any of these games, Virtua Fighter or Dead or Alive 6. Like I know that there's some like the way the game works and like the fighting system. Like I'm pretty sure I know it's gonna be like it's mechanical. It's just it's just not my cup of tea. Like it's not my go-to.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
For me, I will say that Dead or Alive has been a series that I have always admired for its looks, and by that I mean like graphically. Yeah, let me clarify. I find like it's a game that has always, I felt like, had really pristine graphics. Like I know people are gonna laugh and say, oh yeah, sure, but like really they honestly have.
At some point when we have sound effects, I'm gonna put in the problematic alarm right there.
Oh man. Yeah, look, I am now all of that other stuff like. Whatever, like it's borderline embarrassing to me, but to me it's always been like even if you remember Dead or Alive 3 on Xbox One, I remember that game blowing my mind, or the original Xbox, I guess I should say, thanks Microsoft. That game graphically, like I remember it came out and it was like one of the best looking games on that console for a really, really long time. And it always had kind of pushed the envelope in that sense. Like it's always a game that looked really cool. You had a lot of cool stages and you could like throw people off there, and like ring outs were really fun. It was always like a very bombastic game, kind of like Tekken is. And it was always like the more kind of casual fun series to me. And that's how I always took it. Not to say that there isn't a cool pro scene around it. I have no idea, actually. I'm sure there is, but it was a game where mechanically it relied too much on counters and grapples, and I was not super in tune with that, and that's been like that for the entire series. It's always been a series where the fighting mechanics have always been counter focused. Like it revolves entirely around that, and I've just never. That's why it kind of never is, has made it up to that higher tier for me. So I'm kind of with you on that. Now, Virtua Fighter, I think, is one of the greatest fighting games of all time. Like, and you already know I'm a Street Fighter guy. Like, that is my favorite fighting game franchise. It has a very special place in my heart. But Virtua Fighter to me might be the best fighter like I've played. Like, even if Street Fighter is my favorite, Virtua Fighter is such a technical fighter. It's based in like on real styles that like in real life. And there's a precision and technique to that series that I appreciate, and I cannot handle any negativity towards that series, Chris.
Shoot!
I can't handle it. No, but I'm sorry. Yeah, Dead or Alive. We were talking about Dead or Alive. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool that they added I guess it's like a special attack meter, like a break gauge. So I feel like all fighting games are sort of leaning towards like some sort of like meter. Like every game has a meter now. Or like you could build up a meter. You could build up a meter and like you could use it for like a special skill or like a combo or something like that. So I mean, this wasn't something that wasn't Dead or Alive before. I think it's brand new.
You could be right about that. It's been such a long time since I played. I think I did play Dead or Alive 5, but very briefly. So yeah, you could be right about that.
Yeah. So once again, shout out to them releasing another game. And what's interesting is that I don't want to say like I don't want to like diminish the sales or whatever of the game, but there is going to be a free to play version sometime in the future.
$90 for all the costumes or something.
Yeah, like no, yeah. Is that $90 for all the costumes, and is that including the season pass?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, you would hope, right? Like,
but that's $90 if you want to buy everything, right?
Right, everything.
Who wants to buy like? Who wants to buy everything?
You'd be surprised. Someone who really likes Hitomi.
I guess like that's.
Yeah.
If you're a big fan, go for it. Spend the $90, but at least for me, it's normally like a couple of characters I'll buy costumes for and stuff like that. So I don't see the wrong in having like the paid like cosmetics. Granted, you have that whole discussion. Oh, it used to be something that was free in the game. Mm-hmm. Times are changing. If they're planning on making this free to play, like I could see, the reasoning of doing that.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so next up, and this is more or less of a shout out, but once again, Devil May Cry 5 released last week, and we've been getting a lot of feedback about it, which is pretty cool. And granted, yes, I feel like it's a big game, and it has been getting pretty good reviews, so like It's a really solid game. If you're into the whole, action beat 'em up games, definitely pick it up. But the way my bank account's set up,
I will say this right here. We will play this game. Like eventually, we are going to play this game, or at least I know I'm going to play this game. I don't want to speak for you, Chris. We've sort of talked about this before. You're interested in the game.
Yeah, at some point I definitely want to pick it up. So.
Yeah, I think what we should do is we should definitely pick it up and we should do something with it at some point. Right.
I feel like that'll definitely be a good game for one of us to stream. I'll probably stream it at some point when I get it.
Right.
So this is more or less shout out to everyone in the, in the fandom that's been like, yo, Chris, Rod, what you think about this game?
Yeah.
I think we think it looks great, but it's something that unfortunately has to be, pushed back, down the road.
Yeah, just a little bit though. Like we will get into this game. Like rest assured, you want to hear our thoughts, you will get them. I promise.
Now, granted, if you guys, if someone from Capcom wants to slip us a code, or if someone wants to be generous and be like, hey, yo, guys, we got you. Here you go. I, I'm just saying, I wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah, no, never.
So that's that for Devil May Cry 5. Next up, and speaking about Devil May Cry 5, this has been something that's just been on the internet. Like I brought it up to Rod, and he's like, yeah, like I've read this and I've heard it from numerous places, but for some reason, a lot of people feel like Capcom, they're on the up and up right now. Like,
Yeah.
if it's not including a fighting game,
Which is true. I mean, we got Devil May Cry 5, we got Resident Evil 2, we got Monster Hunter World last year, which topped a lot of Game of the Year lists, and I think is one of the best Monster Hunter games created. Yeah, I mean, Capcom is doing a hell of a job right now with a lot of its key franchises that is not named Street Fighter. So, like, that's awesome. Like, I love that. They've really turned it around. They've gone for people, used to say, Crapcom this and, but they're doing some really cool things right now. Like, I'm enjoying their output.
Yo, Capcom, where's my Mega Man Legends 3? I'm kidding.
One hurdle at a time. One miracle at a time.
So, yeah, we think that's cool. Capcom, keep doing what you're doing. It'd be cool for them to, I guess, fix things on the fighting game side of things. But like you said, like it's, one step at a time. Whoever's running the other half that's, worrying about their IPs, you're doing the A1 job. Keep it up.
Yeah. And that space is evolving. We've got Dragon Ball Fighters, coming out and really making a huge splash. Like Arc Systems is really just killing it right now with that game. So I think Capcom and I hopefully they are taking lessons from what it takes to keep an audience engaged with its content.
Same thing with Tekken. Tekken has their season pass too. That, released recently.
Yeah.
Shout out to Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Norman Reedus. Yeah.
Shoot, and then also shout out to NetherRealm with what they're doing now with Mortal Kombat 11. Like I feel like what they're doing with their their previews and like how they're hyping up the game, like that's how you hype up your game. You say nothing until literally like a month or two before the game release, and like you just drip feed us stuff every week until the game comes out. Granted, knock on wood, don't be surprised if there's like hey, we're gonna push this back a week or push this back a month. Like if it comes out, hey, that's even better on their half. But if they happen to push it back, I wouldn't be upset compared to other developers that announce a game and push it back, a month or two, push it back like a season or two, push it back another year. That's right. I'm looking at you, Crackdown 3. But NetherRealm, like that's, you guys are doing it right now. And they're engaging with the fan base too. Like, a lot of like cosplayers that I know, like they're submitting their work and like they're being recognized on their social media and also on these live streams. So
yeah,
Capcom,
that's awesome.
Like you have notes, you have like your peers doing the right things. So
yeah,
you have the blueprint in place.
Mm-hmm. You just got to execute it. So I think they can. I think they can do that. Street Fighter 5 has been out for quite a while, so I think that they'll get their bearings on that.
Yep. All right. So next up, with this being released on the 15th, the Division 2 is officially released. Once again, one of these games that like has those little wonky release schedules. So of course, if you dropped extra money down, you would have been playing this game a couple days in advance. So I know some people. Shout out to she's been on the stream. What's her name? Is it
Subject T.
Subject T. Shout out to you for being on the stream a couple times, and then also you're playing Division right now, so you're gonna have to show us the ropes once we pick up our copies on today. What do you think about Division 2? Just I guess like quick impression.
Really similar to what I was saying last week, and it's a really solid game that I think Massive did a great job of improving on what they did with the original one, and I'm really looking forward to seeing like if that follows all the way through, like what their end game looks like. It's already super interesting. We kind of got into it last week, but the end game is already really interesting. And for me to be looking forward to the destination already, having not played much of the journey, like I think that's super cool.
That's a lot, yeah. And there's a couple of like streamers that's of course they've had the game a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that some streamers are like doing like marathons. They're playing through the game, streaming like 30 odd hours, and they still have like side missions and stuff to do. So
yeah, and I hope it's meaningful. I hope it's not just like side content for side content's sake. Like that's my thing. Is that like I don't want a bunch of content, like a useless content. I want content to actually matter, which I feel like is hard to do in loot shooters because I mean people want to provide you with content, period, because they know that you're gonna probably be playing it like week to week to week. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of this stuff is just wait and see, right? Like
I feel like with this, like it's all about the pacing of how you do it.
Yeah.
With a lot of the side quests, I've realized that it's more or less like if you're, you get a main mission, but then 2 side missions pop up. Those side missions are giving you like extra points to upgrade your talent trees, but then they're also giving you blueprints so you could craft stuff. So like if you're playing in that order of doing a main mission, knocking out your side quests, like I feel like your end game may be a little bit stronger because you have all that extra stuff already.
Right. Yeah, that could be true.
So yeah, definitely, figure that out when you guys are playing. If you guys are into loot shooters, it's out today. Go ahead and pick it up. And if you pick it up already, let us know what you think in the comments. So this next story is it's pretty interesting. Fortnite. It turns out that a lot of the Switch players, they figured out that they're only being matched up with other Switch players and mobile players. Like they're not in that giant pool of PS4, PC, and Xbox, which that was the whole debacle of hey, this is cross-platform, like we want to play with everybody.
Yep.
So
it's crossplay gone wrong.
Yeah. So Rod, what are your takes on that?
Crossplay gone wrong. It's really, really bad, honestly. Like I don't quite know what exactly is going on right now. Like the story, is still fairly fresh to me, but I think that it is obviously a shame anytime you are able to do something and all of a sudden cannot. I also think it's super important to note that if you have friends on a different platform, that's PS4 or Xbox One, you can play with them. They have to invite you. You can't just randomly matchmake with those players anymore.
Okay, so that's a good note because I'm pretty sure, that story could be twisted and it could become sensationalist. Right. So that's a really good point that, of course, if you're playing with your friends that are on other consoles, you can still play with them. It's just naturally like you're not being paired up with, other people on those other consoles.
Exactly. So it's a real bummer. Like, I mean, even if it's random, like you want to be able to do that. There's no guarantee that you'll be able to play with your friends all the time, and you want a bigger pool of players to play with, right? So I definitely want to look into this a little bit more and find out what exactly this means and why this is happening. I don't quite know yet. But yeah, something I'm definitely interested to keep an eye on. I'm always interested when it comes to the crossplay thing and like how that will affect kind of the future, because I have a feeling that Nintendo and Microsoft, they're really going to be kind of like the ones to kind of get together on a lot of this stuff, especially Microsoft. They've been very adamant about crossplay, which, given their position in the industry right now, like that's not a super surprise. And given what we've sort of talked about before with the Microsoft and their Play Anywhere initiative, like, this kind of like plays into all of that. So I want to pay more attention to this for sure.
And just in case anybody from Epic is listening to this, yo, I have a side story about this.
Okay.
A friend of mine, back when, the whole crossplay thing wasn't really a thing, I found out that, my PS4 account couldn't be put on my Switch account. So, like, I'm hanging out with a friend. He's like, oh, you can't sign in? Let me go ahead and sign in onto my account, and you can play then. So, just thinking, all right, cool, whatever, he can sign in. I could, hopefully sign out. All things will be fine. Um, Turns out I can't sign out of his account. Like, I'm still tied to his account somehow. So, Epic, please make it so that it's easy for people to like fix that. Because I know now, if you had an account before a certain time point, you could merge the two accounts.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I can't even get to that step because I'm still signed into a friend of mine's account. So that's just for anybody at Epic, or if anybody that actually really plays Fortnite, if they want to say in the comments, hey, Chris, this is, the fix for that. I'd appreciate it. It'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right. So last news story for the week. Well, I guess our Spitfire news story is, we posted this on the Facebook page a couple days ago, but Gearbox on their Twitter page decided to sort of, tease us a little bit, and they have like a not stop sign, but like a highway sign that pretty much gives the date and I guess time of when their PAX East panel is going to be. And it's basically like in Borderlands font, and it's
right.
exit 3. So,
Ha.
You sort of see what they're doing there.
Yep.
It's not Half-Life 3. It's possibly, Borderlands 3. You're probably going to get something from that.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you feel about Borderlands 3 finally like coming into the limelight?
I mean, and it's, as a very, very casual Borderlands fan, I think it's cool. Like, I did play the first one extensively, and, Gearbox has been a studio that is kind of just up and down for me, but I feel like Borderlands has been, like, the one thing that I would want from them, for sure. Like, so, like I was telling you, like, off air before we just started, like, I am sort of surprised that it's coming so late. I feel like it's got to be a game that releases this year, right? Like, this game has been rumored like a year or two ago. Like, I imagine that it's got to be pretty far in development. Like, these consoles are winding down. It seems late in the generation, but I mean, cool.
I'd say early 2020.
Really?
Now, granted, if they want to pull the whole, hey, you can download it now. No, I'm kidding. They're not gonna
No
say
way.
That. But if they say something like, it's this holiday season, that'd be cool. But I don't know. I can see them like pushing it to like early 2020.
You don't think it'd be like a September, October release?
I could see it being like a January, February release.
Okay. But
I'm excited. I don't know. I have like a weird experience with Borderlands 3, or like just Borderlands in general. I played a lot of them. Like, I played through the first one. I want to say I played all the DLCs on the first one. With the second one, I played through some of the DLCs, and then honestly, I haven't really touched the pre-sequel. Like, I didn't really play that one. But like, I love the franchise. I love like the drop in and out co-op. I always think that's cool, and the humor of the games are just. I mean, it's sort of like I'm not gonna say like it's sort of like Deadpool's humor. Like, it's really like off the wall, like fourth wall breaking. Like, it's really self-aware of what
like
it is.
Meta humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So more or less, like let's see what happens. If they happen to announce it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. So that's it for the news this week. Next up, we have two topics that we sort of want to dive into a little bit more. So we'll talk about them a little bit longer. I feel like this first topic is more or less a teaser of what's to come, because we don't have like a bulk of the information. It's more or less speculation of what's going to happen. And then the next one is more or less of a discussion. But with any of the news topics that we talked about this week, go ahead and leave in the comments what you like, what you want to talk about. And the same thing with the topics that we're going to get into. What do you guys think? So, Rod, you want to go ahead and start up the next section?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So what we're kind of going to talk about here is a little bit of the Google keynote that will take place next week. I want to say that is on Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday. And it's very exciting because it will be what people are speculating is Google's foray into the, I want to say, console space, or at least the console manufacturing space. I mean, who knows at this point what it's going to be, if it's going to be a streaming box, which a lot of people think will be possible because they just did some tests last year, I want to say, with some of their streaming services where they were streaming like Assassin's Creed, which is funny. That will play into something in like the next minute or so. But they were streaming like a bunch of games using the Chrome service, you know, and doing a lot of testing in that regard. So it could be a streaming box, it could be a physical box. We don't know at this point in time, but we're very excited to find out. Google has actually released a teaser kind of trailer for its keynote, I want to say, and it's exciting. It's exciting stuff. Like, I am quite interested to see what they're going to bring to the table. We haven't had an actual like reveal, like console reveal, in a long time. So like one from a company we don't already know of. So I think that's pretty hype. What are you thinking, Chris?
Wait, you don't count the Soldier console?
Oh, good God. No, I do not. I do not. Okay, excluding the Soldier console. Is that actually the name of it? The Soldier?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
You better put some respect on Big Draco's name, man.
Oh my God. Yeah. What are you? What are you thinking about this Google thing right now? Like, Okay, so Chris, do you even think that Google can come out with anything that is going to be worthy of all this fervor?
So my takeaway is that it's not going to take away the market of people that want like a super powerful console, that they want their physical media. It's not for those people yet, but it's more or less of the market that, you know, they have good internet, they don't mind streaming stuff, like they like, you know, digital downloads.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I honestly feel like this is going to be the Netflix of streaming, or the Netflix of gaming, where you could just log into your account. They have certain games you can play. You'll connect to the service, and you're good to go. Like, you know, of course, you know, it falling down to your internet speeds and everything like that. So I feel like that's where it's really going to fall down to for a lot of people, is if you have compatible internet. And I'm excited because I've sort of jumped over to the whole digital, you know, space. So like, I have no problem. Like, if it's a game that I really want and I know that I'm really going to play, I'll most likely opt in for the digital version of the game.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something that I'm not too sure of, or something that I can see myself wanting to resell to put towards something else, then I'll get a physical version. But I mean, look at what Apple did with music. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when musicians, like when they're talking about numbers of like how much they've sold, it's not really about how much they sold. It's honestly about how much they streamed.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, what's to say that they can't do that with gaming? What's to say that, you know, gaming now becomes a space where it's like the barrier of entry, give or take, is a little different now.
Mm.
Like, you don't have to drop $60 to play a new game. And then, like, with how things are sort of like leaning towards the whole free to play thing, like the stage honestly is set right now.
Yeah,
Look
games as a service,
this is it right here. This is, you know, games as a service. Now, what I want to see is, you know, pricing on whether, I mean, I think, is it sort of known that we're going to have like some sort of box for it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, we don't know any of that. Yeah.
So I want to see pricing, of course, on that box. But of course,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, there were tests on, you know, doing it through like a computer, doing it through that. Google's huge. You could do it straight through your TV possibly at some point. So I'm not sure if they're going to give us. I think it's too early to say anything on pricing, but that's going to be a key thing. Is will this be something that like will be affordable for people?
I don't think that Google will release something that is going to be as pervasive as this, like just straight up streaming box, and have it not be affordable. I can't see them coming out with something like a $400 box. I don't think that. I mean, obviously, I should preface what I'm saying by saying I have no foreknowledge of any of this. This is all completely speculation on my part, but I genuinely don't think that we're seeing a $300, $400 box. I think we're seeing something that's like $100, $150, streaming only device, maybe something you plug into the back of your TV, like a Chromecast or something like that. I think that, and honestly, every time I listening to you talk about it, you make wonderful points. Like, honestly, a lot of stuff I hadn't even really considered, like the comparison between Apple and what they've done for streaming. Like, I mean, I think it's super obvious, now that you've mentioned it, but like, and I think that is a great comparison. And I think that they're trying to do that exact thing. They're trying to do that, but for gaming. And I also think you bring up a super salient point about games as a service and where gaming is going right now. Everything is a service. We just finished talking about tons of games that are going to be functioning as services. Dead or Alive 6, that's going to be a service. Like, basically, if you're free to play, hey, play this game for free right now. Oh, you really like this character? Buy this character. Or you like this costume? Like, buy this costume for like $5 or whatever the price is. Division 2, Destiny 2. These are all games as a service. Like, all of those games are. Like, these loot shooters that are coming out now, they're live. They are what they are calling live games. They are getting updates and changing every week, every month. Like, these are not static experiences that you're paying $60 for and that's it. That's what you get. No, like, you're continually getting new experiences, constantly. So, I mean, we're sitting here talking about these exact things that we are available right now. I think I think Google is going to get into that space, and I think they're going to use a very affordable way to do that. And I think primarily it will be streaming. Again, they could come out, next week. They can announce it. It could be a box. I'm wrong, but if I'm Google and I'm thinking, I'm trying to be forward thinking here, the future is streaming. That's just Definitely. That's just what it is. Like, whether you're consuming it through Netflix or Twitch or, cutting your cord. I just read an article the other day, about, there was a survey done where, people cutting the cord for television, cable television, had more than doubled what they were expecting to have. So, like, I mean, people are doing it much more. I mean, even HBO, one of the most stingent, like, they are the most, they were the most conservative cable group in terms of, like, you will buy our package. Like, we are not going to stream. They have HBO Now and go. Like, you don't even have to have the cable service anymore. Like, this is where we're going. And I definitely believe Google is following that philosophy.
So, earlier you brought up a fact that it was interesting that they tested the service with Assassin's Creed, which, honestly, when you said that, the light bulb just went on, and, like, I put the two and two together, and I was like, oh, that's what they did. But why? What's the connect with them testing with Assassin's Creed?
Ah, yes. Great segue, Chris. So what happened recently was that Jade Raymond, who is an extremely prominent figure in the games industry, she's done creative lead on Assassin's Creed. She executive produced a bunch of numerous Assassin's Creed titles, on top of, like, she worked on Splinter Cell and Watch Dogs and got a lot of the Ubisoft games out of the door. She was actually working on, I want to say it was Motive Studios, I want to say. She rejoined EA, I believe, at a certain point. and was working on the new Amy Hennig game. That was a Star Wars game. I don't know if that was 1313 or what that was, but it was Amy Hennig. She was doing a Star Wars thing, and Jade Raymond was with her on that. It got canned, so now she has actually she's joined Google as a vice president. We don't know of what, but you would imagine that it is of the division that they have not named yet. Obviously, she officially can't say what, but that's super exciting because to me, that's big name talent that they're trying to get, similar to when, Amazon was courting talent with Amazon Game Studios, and I think that Google has the capacity to do even bigger and better things than Amazon did. And I think that's a really good direction of where they want to go with their service or with their console or whatever it's going to be. So yeah, I think it's extremely, extremely interesting. I'm excited to see it just exactly where it's going, honestly. Because I mean, who knows? Like we don't know. It's all up in the air right now.
So as much as I hate, bringing up rumors or all right, so you already know I'm going to go with this because I said it in the pre-show, but it makes so much sense to me right now. I'd be disappointed if this doesn't turn into a thing. But, like you just said, they're pulling talent from major companies right now. So they're obviously trying to build a team. They're trying to build a brand. Rod, who just retired from Nintendo?
Oh, here we go. Our main man, Reggie Fils-Aimé. Did I just butcher his name? Yeah, Reggie from Nintendo. The Nintendo of America president just retired. Retired from working, I think.
And here's the thing. His step down date is April 15th. Mine's my mind is just being blown of the potential hype of him retiring so soon, because normally when people retire, they normally announce it a couple months out, so things could transitioning could happening and all that is really smooth. But for someone to retire that soon, it's pretty interesting.
It is interesting, Chris. I think it's interesting, but I don't know if I see the correlation that you do there, but I will say that it would be pretty cool if he did walk on the stage and was talked about kicking ass like he did with the Nintendo press conference all those years ago.
Just imagine him walking onto the stage and saying, "Yo, my body is ready."
It would be pretty good. I don't think that's happening, but that would be pretty good.
All right, so that's why I'm gonna end it on that, because I feel like when you talk about speculations, and you guys know how I feel about this. I try to temper my expectations, but that's just made too much sense to me. Yeah. I had to say something about it.
Yeah. I mean, we had to.
But more or less, this is all a teaser thing. This is like you said, they put out the teaser trailer. This is all speculation. Us connecting the dots. That one meme of Charlie from It's Always Sunny. That's literally how I feel right now.
Yeah, with the red string in the room, and yeah, I got it.
So next week, will be the keynote, and we'll have concrete facts, which is what I'd like to deliver to you guys. The facts. But every now and then, I made go off the deep end and sort of go into the whole speculations. I try not to, but next week we'll have the facts, and that's what I like to report to you guys. It's the stone cold facts. Right. So this is me pulling myself back in. I'm sorry. I got really excited just putting it together.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, our last topic for this episode is a little bit of, once again, more or less a predictions / reporting on news. But E3, once again, is sort of changing up a little bit this year.
Yeah, again.
We have another major force. Oh, yeah, I'd say major force. Dropping out of doing a quote unquote, keynote speech Like they're now pulling out and doing their own thing, which EA like dropped out of the whole. So here's the thing. Wait. So here's my question. So they dropped out of doing a keynote, but they're still doing their own thing at E3.
Yeah, they're doing their own thing, which they've been doing for the last, I want to say, couple years now. The last 2 years, it was called EA Play, and it's an event that is held, I want to say, the Friday through Sunday, maybe Thursday through Saturday, something like that. It takes place during that weekend before E3. So the E3 press conferences had been starting on Sunday for the last few years, and EA Play would go that whole weekend up to Sunday, I believe, and then they would have a press conference, like I want to say Friday or Saturday or something like that.
Yeah. So I guess this is more or less of them like sort of, adjusting with the times. Like I think one of the main reasons was that I guess they felt that financially, like doing the whole keynote was a waste of money.
Maybe it could be that. I mean, we don't know. It could be that. It could be that, like Sony, EA might have some pans in the fire that they are not ready to reveal yet. They're not really ready to. I mean, they're going to talk about what? They're going to talk about NBA 2K20. They're going to talk about Madden 20, and they might have some things that are not ready to be shown yet, which I think is entirely why Sony is not coming to E3 this year, because they don't have anything to show. They showed everything that they were going to show during E3 last year and during I think Paris Games Week. I don't even know if they did the experience last year.
They opted out of doing the PlayStation experience.
Yeah.
Which I find it funny is that the last time they had the PlayStation experience, they're like, hey, by the next time we have next time we'll do the PlayStation experience, changing your name will be a thing. It's still not a thing, guys.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really do think that it's a quiet year for the industry in terms of upcoming releases or things that, like, teasing things that are going to be like another year or two out, because I think things that are another year or two out are on another console entirely.
Yeah.
So, we're going to start seeing a lot of cross-gen. We're going to start seeing a lot of, I honestly think that the next time we hear from Sony, it will likely be something platform related. I'm surprised. I'm honestly kind of surprised we haven't heard any sort of rumors on hardware now. Like, we're getting like the base level of things. Like, we just heard the other day about what's the studio that does Batman? I'm blanking. Batman the Arkham series. Oh my god.
Oh shoot! Now I'm blanking. Oh.
Yeah, I can't think of their name, but but those guys, like that studio, they're recruiting right now for like multi-platform. I want to say next generation consoles. Like, I mean, these LinkedIn profile job descriptions are
Rocksteady. I had to Google it real quick.
Thank you, Rocksteady. Rocksteady, we know that they're developing in next gen right now. A lot of these studios are, so it's an in between year for the industry. It seems like, for everyone that isn't Nintendo really. So, I'm assuming that has a part to play in it. They just don't have anything worthwhile to show. They in a press conference. They do, because obviously they'll still be there, but it's not going to be like a big keynote.
You know what I think? I feel like a lot of these companies, they're adjusting to the times. They're trying new things, doing things that seem to work. Right. So Sony, I feel like if they're going to announce a new console, I feel like it might be at the experience this year.
Later in the year.
Later in the year, when more things are concrete, they could actually, and I feel like by that point, people love to talk, people love to leak things. We'll hear more about it leading up to it, since it's at the end of the year. It'll be a cool way to like introduce it, say, hey, this is a system. hopefully we could get like a date, like sort of like what Nintendo did. Nintendo honestly, you know, gave us a Nintendo Direct, said, "Hey, this is the system." I think they gave us a date, and I think they gave us a price point too, didn't they?
I believe so. Like the very first time they revealed it?
The very first time. It was literally a couple months out.
Yeah, I think you could be right about that.
So who's to say that Sony can't do that? And I think Microsoft, don't they have some sort of event similar to that as
They
well?
do. They do. It's like X something, X in a number, X10, X11, or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So who's to say that these other companies won't do the same thing?
Yeah. I mean, as far as we know, I think Microsoft, they haven't pulled out yet, like of the show. So and I don't know.
But what's Microsoft gonna show? Halo.
I mean, yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
Gears of War.
Gears, yeah. I mean,
which don't get me wrong, I love to see both of those games, but I feel like at this point, the talk right now is all about like the hardware. So like what's coming. So Sony, I guess they're already set with Last of Us 2, Death Stranding. Like they have like their titles already. So like, the biggest thing that we're waiting for is going to be the hardware.
Yeah, I mean Microsoft right now, they're waiting on a bunch. I mean they don't have they probably don't have a ton. Oh, they have a ton cooking right now. They just bought like 4 or 5 studios, and all of those studios are going to have games like 2 or 3 years from now. So they're not even close to really being ready to be shown, I'm assuming. And anything that they're going to make they're not going to be on Xbox One. Like I almost can guarantee that. Like I don't think that's happening. And everything that those studios are making, like everything they announced last year during their press conference of like, oh man, look at all these like studios we bought like in 2018. Well, I don't think we're seeing anything from them until like at least 2021, maybe. Like
as long as these games aren't using the power of the cloud, I will be fine.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they talk more about services. Maybe they pull out of the show entirely. Like, and then it's only Bethesda and Ubisoft.
Yeah. Honestly, my prediction on E3 is that unless maybe next year, if they go back to doing their keynotes,
right?
I feel like it's the whole dynamic of E3 is sort of going to shift, because like remember a couple of years ago they went back to being like the whole it's press only, like it's super inclusive. It's them showing their shareholders that hey, like this is what we have cooking up and what's coming out.
Yeah, it's a business. It was always it was a business event first and foremost. Yeah.
So like over time, then they opened it back up to the public. Then they opened it up to a lot of gaming personalities, content creators. Like it opened up to them. So I just think like just over time, it's honestly like a festival.
Yeah, it's another PAX. Like
yeah.
I mean, like at this point, and I mean a lot of people were saying that even the first year that it opened up. Like I mean it's just another PAX, and I think that's insanely accurate. I obviously I've never been, but from everything I've seen and read, like that's what it looks like to me. It's what it feels like from what everyone else has said. And I mean, really, do we need E3? I feel like that this conversation is like, it's been had before, but I mean, I think it's also relevant. Like, do we really need E3? I don't think we do. Like in our current day and age, I don't think that we need what E3 gives us, which is, all access to, all of these amazing games. I think we get that through Nintendo Directs, Sony experiences, Microsoft, their X, whatever their number is, like, their exclusive things, EA Play, everyone has their own thing. Even Paris Games Week is become like kind of a big deal in terms of what people are showing there. Like we get there are consolidated avenues and channels to get the content that you get during E3 any other time of the year.
And I'll say it's also like with what we're doing right now, like content creators. Like a lot of people come to us and will like take our opinion and like form their opinions off of it. So like that's the next level is just getting information out to people like us to then bring it out to other people. Like I mean it's becoming like a whole different I guess business model.
Well, I mean, Nintendo has been pioneering that. They've been doing that with their directs. At some point, they were like, no, like we're not doing this whole E3 charade anymore. Like what we're going to do is we're going to tell people what to expect when, like on our terms, when we want to. We'll tell you maybe a day or two in advance and say, hey, we're dropping this, Animal Crossing direct, tomorrow at 9 a.m. or Pokemon. They just did Pokemon the other day, like, the other week. That's what they do now. And they don't even need the content creators really. Like they don't need anyone but themselves. And I mean, the content creators are great for like hype and, reaction videos or whatever. But like, I mean, you control the narrative. Like the company, you being the company, like you're controlling the flow of information. And not to mention, you're not cluttered up against 15,000 other developers and publishers trying to, push your title in front of everyone's face. Like if you notice the week before E3, there are significant game announcements that happen like the week before, you know, because it's like, let's get out in front of this. So like everybody's talking about our stuff like for a solid week until E3, the avalanche of games comes out. And then all of a sudden you're talking about 30 games instead of just your one.
Yeah, and like I'll say that, man, shout out to G4 and like Tech TV. Remember those days?
I do.
But that you saying all that just sort of like brings back a flashback of I don't remember which show, if it was like X Play or Attack of the Show, but there was some segment I remember of like Sony Santa Monica, like them like preparing for them doing like an E3 reveal for God of War. And like the scramble of like them, they're already working on the game, but then they have to like then take a team to separately make a quote unquote E3 build to show off, and like that sort of like messes with their whole flow of them developing the game. Yeah. So instead of having to take a team to make some sort of like 2 to 3 minute gameplay demo of sometimes of things that aren't really in the game or won't look like that. Cough, cough, Ubisoft. They can now just focus on what's really there, what they're really working on. And like you said, like they control the narrative. They don't have to piece together something that's, inorganic. Like they can actually show off real gameplay of something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you made that's a good point too. Like the G4 and Tech TV, like the covers that they had of these shows, like that was great, and at a time when that was necessary.
Yeah.
But now, like everybody's got high speed 4K, internet. Like we can stream all this stuff. You could you could get a direct feed of a lot of this stuff like on your own time. A lot of this stuff is on demand when you want to watch it. Like, it's the way that E3 is being delivered is going to change. And I this isn't exactly an original opinion or anything, but like, the writing was kind of on the wall, like for the past few years, especially when Nintendo started doing directs, because that was quite innovative, like at least in the industry. Like everybody was kind of adhering to like this strict guideline of like, all right, we reveal this here at this event, and this and this. But it's like you don't have to do that anymore. The industry, the media industry, is changing in such a way that E3 as it is now is a relic, and that's a little sad to think about. But at the same time, everything has to change,
Yep.
And you have to evolve with the times. So.
Yeah, so we're definitely seeing that this year, and I feel like this is the beginning of that shift towards whatever they plan on doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So more or less, we'll get more news about E3 just leading up to the event. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens there. But once again, guys, I'd love to hear what you guys think about Like, how do you feel about E3? What do you feel about like these companies dropping out and changing up the game? Do you care? Honestly, at the end of the day, do you care? That's the real point.
That is a great point.
We live in a day and age where like you have to make a point, you have to be loud about it, but then at the same time, you have to also think that another company is then going to take that limelight, and that conversation's over for you. Like
Right.
people will then shift over to something else. So honestly, I'm a fan of them taking what they like sort of hoarding all that information and having their own separate event. Like I feel like at that point, all this, the spotlight's on them, and it's more, fine tuned to just like the conversations that we have, just talking about that instead of, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? What do you think about this? Like, there's so much noise during the week of E3
Yeah.
that, like for us, unfortunately, we haven't been able to make it out there as like, a group, but even just like for us, like just being, at home and talking about it, like
Yeah.
if that was like a stressful thing. So I can
Yeah.
only imagine being out there and having to give out all that information. It's a lot.
Yep. It is a lot. It is a lot.
So, we will see. We'll definitely see with E3. So with that, another episode's in the bag, guys. What do you think about what we talked about this week? Just all in all. Leave it in the notes, comments. Say, what you want to hear us talk about in the future. We'd love to hear about it. Like I said, we're on Facebook, we're on Spotify, SoundCloud. Still working out other platforms, but we're trying to make the brand strong. So definitely, shout us out.
Stitcher,
yeah, we're on Stitcher as well. So, Ryan, what are your closing thoughts this week?
Definitely, once again, appreciate everybody tuning in, and everyone, like, if you're checking this out from the Facebook posts, definitely big thanks to all of you guys. We have we've been posting some things on there. So if you're coming from that, I hope that the episode that you've checked out, you've enjoyed. Continue checking us out. We're still working out a lot of things here, but we're having a lot of fun here, and that's the most important part. Please leave us feedback of any sort, any sort of criticisms. We'll definitely take and reshape, shape the show how how it should be. I think we're finding our groove still, but I'm really happy with kind of where we're at the moment. But we're always open for suggestions and anything you guys have to say.
Yep. And yeah, at the end of the day, like, we do this because we love it.
Yeah.
And not only do we love this, but we also love gaming, and we know you guys do too if you're listening to us. So it's all about the community, and we're definitely trying to build that community. So we watch it. I mean, I feel like we can never thank you guys enough for listening.
We really can't. We really cannot.
So with that, that's another week of Should I Play That? Something I realized that like our call signs, we on the show we normally go by Chris and Rod, but like our call signs, if you guys see us literally anywhere else, like on Discord, PlayStation Network, whatever, I realized that like the other day someone was like, oh, like, wait, which one are you? Are you Blackerot? Are you so
You can't tell by our voice?
Oh, what? But yeah, so this is Chris and Rod, Blackerot and Custom Shrew signing out for another week. And guys, stay beastly. Peace out.